Hi everyone, welcome to The Ordinary Professor. Have you ever wondered what it takes to have a good apology? The do's and don'ts of apologizing? Well, on today's episode, we explore all that. Hi, my name is Dr. Courtney Pegram, and I am the founder of this wonderful channel called The Ordinary Professor. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. I am all about social skills, emotional intelligence, and all things feelings. So I wanted to explain today what is a good apology, but also what are the do's and don'ts. So in the YouTube channels before, you can find the 4 steps to a good apology. I will repost them in the notes, but basically it's when you're apologizing, you need to say, I am sorry, right, for your action. You need to explain what happened, what occurred, right? Because sometimes it could be intent versus impact, right? You thought you were going to be funny, right? Or you didn't realize that was offensive. So it's important to explain some the background without placing blame, but being accountable for actions. Number 3 in the apology, it's really important to talk about how we're going to change our actions, our thought process, and what we're going to do differently, right? So it doesn't happen again. Number 4 is asking for forgiveness, insofar as saying I hope you can forgive me. Do you forgive me, right? Or I hope that after time we can rebuild our relationships. So whatever transition statement you need to use for that. So that's the last part, is really asking for that forgiveness and not just assuming that because you apologize, someone's going to forgive you, right? So that's the 4 steps. Now, what's important in an apology is sincerity, right? It's important to come from a place where you are present and mindful of your actions. You're not just brushing off this apology. And it's important to share how to do it. So we need to train each other on this stuff. It's not something that comes easily. I mean, I don't like to be wrong. A lot of people, some people do, and that's really something that's hard. So when you admit you're wrong, it takes a lot of courage, bravery, and practice. So I am constantly practicing. And having children does really humble you. So, and working with children, middle school and high school can humble you a ton. Also college students. So basically, I'm in an audience where I'm told every single day how I'm wrong. Does it feel good? No. But I'm learning how to manage it so that I can learn from it and it doesn't become part of my ego, but more part of my learning experience, my journey towards professional growth, right? Okay, so now let's talk about the do's and don'ts of an apology. So do, right? Come prepared with your thought process clear, right? So rambling on or going back and forth, it's not sincere, and also it doesn't think like you really thought about your actions. So coming prepared, right? That doesn't mean writing out a speech, but thinking through your actions, why are you sorry? What happened? What do you want to see differently? And also sharing with the person why they're important to you is very important. That's so many importance in one word. So I digress. Next, it's about showing up authentically, being yourself. And then also really being sincere. And that can be sometimes difficult. Also, and the do's of an apology is taking time to listen to the other person without getting offended. Because if you get offended, it becomes a don't, right? It's also coming from a space with learning and curiosity, an open mind. So really coming humble and willing to learn from your mistakes. So those are some do's. Now some don'ts. Okay, sarcasm, absolutely not a place for an apology. Another don't is blame. Do not blame any other person. Even though there's other people involved in a situation, it's about you and the other person, right? So don't drag other people in, right? Just you be accountable for your own actions. And then it's important in the don't and the apologies is don't overdo it or over apologize. So that's an interesting concept. As I tend to over apologize, I've learned that it's about being concise and to the point. Because sometimes if we're overly sensitive and we're acute to other people's emotions and we're attuned, and someone is not being open and honest with what we've done, we can think it's a gazillion things, right? Especially with people-pleasing tendencies. So you can over apologize by saying sorry for everything, right? So that dismisses the action that you might have harmed someone else or been offensive, because your apology is about everything. So be sure of what you're apologizing for and do not over apologize. So this is another example of an over apology that often I see when I do my DEI work and sexual harassment or workplace harassment is there microaggressions, right? they happen all the time, and it's really important to address them and be aware of microaggressions and to apologize when we've made them. And I still make some every day. I've caught myself like being like, oh, I went quick to judgment. I went quick to making an assumption. And so it's really important to realize that microaggressions happen oftenly, and it's how we deal with them by apologizing. Now, dismissing the apology or not being sincere is a don't. Now, additionally, is over apologizing, like making it such a big deal that it becomes about you and not about the person that you're trying to apologize to, is very important, right? So 2 things in over apologizing. 1, making it super lengthy and apologizing for like breathing, bumping, jumping, like everything and so forth, right? So long contextual apology. Or 2nd is apologizing over and over and like making the other person feel that it's about you, right, versus them. So that's really critical. So this is some ideas of do's and don'ts for apology. I hope this is helpful. Now it's about practice. So as the week progresses in this week of apologizing, we'll have some samples and some ideas. But critically, what's important is to really listen to the person. Listen to what they have to say, right? And don't come with your own agenda. We can't control what other people think and how they feel and what they do. The only thing we can control is us. And in that moment, so being mindful, being present, right? And really coming forth with understanding what you've done. So sometimes the power of asking questions as we're apologizing can be really helpful to better understand the other person, because what we think we've done wrong, we could be off. So I would recommend also asking questions. So that's a wrap for the Ordinary Professor this week on apologizing. So if you like this content and you want to listen, hear more, please hit the button subscribe and join us for all our things on emotional intelligence and social skills. Thanks. Okay, bye.